Well, Kathy, at the beating heart of Boeing, a company so important to this local community and more broadly the entirety of the state of Washington, well, they're just having to get on with it. Workers at the plant here making these very jets, they've shown up for work today and they're carrying on building them. In a bubble, if you like, while this storm surrounding their company plays out all over the world. A lot of it is coming from that other Washington, Washington, D.C., where Congress has the stirrings of investigations. Why is it, they are asking, that the US, for so long a world leader in aviation safety, took so long to come to the same conclusion and ground these planes over safety concerns as so many other nations? And beyond that, Democrat Congressman Peter DeFazio has now said it's become abundantly clear to us that there should be a rigorous investigation into why the aircraft, which has critical safety systems that did not exist in prior models, was certified without requiring additional pilot training. So plenty of questions for Boeing there. The Senate, there is discussion now about an investigation there as well, and even talk of Boeing being subpoenaed in the coming months. For now, though, the company's priority is right here, getting these jets finished, fixed and flying.
A Boeing aeroplane is 45,000 pieces flying in close formation. An old running joke in Renton, where all of those pieces are put together. Every 737 MAX model is made here, 52 every month. Now they're all dressed up with no place to go.
Any plane currently in the air will go to its destination and thereafter be grounded until further notice.
There's been an order issued to ground this aircraft. Sorry for the delay.
Radar trackers showed MAX models disappearing from US airspace, and passengers who hadn't taken off didn't.
Yeah, I'm just relieved we're on the ground.
Two downed airplanes, new models. I deal with equipment every day, and I understand when things happen a little too quickly out of the gate. It's usually a sign of some issues, and I wasn't going to be at 35,000 feet with an issue.
As the intact data and voice recorders from the Ethiopian Airlines flight that crashed on Sunday were delivered for analysis in France, US regulators explained why they now believe that jet and October's doomed Lion Air flight may have been brought down by the same cause. Both appear to have made erratic movements after takeoff, which the pilots struggled to control.
We got new information yesterday, and we acted on it. And it is in our minds now a link that is close enough to ground the airplanes.
It's a headline the Seattle Times newsroom expected to publish days ago.
The FAA is very close to Boeing, very close to the industry in this country. And so they held out. I think it's clear now they shouldn't have.
For the best part of 2 decades, Dominic Gates has chronicled the ups and downs of Boeing's fortunes, the biggest private employer in his state.
The best case for Boeing is that this second crash perhaps is actually the same cause, because they have been working on a fix for this system, this flight control system that went haywire on the Lion Air crash. When that fix is approved by the FAA and sent out to all the airlines, that they can get back up in the air.
That could take weeks or months, turning the production line at the Renton plant into a very expensive parking lot. There are 4,600 orders of MAX models pending here, worth more than £400 billion in revenue. So today, just like any other day, staff must carry on building the jets that no airline is flying.
Let's measure the other foot to see how much shorter.
As the nervous business community of Renton, their town built on Boeing, watches on.
I mean, it's kind of the center of the city, you know. A lot of people work there. A lot of people that work there shop here too, so we're all connected.
So much here depends on Boeing's best-selling jets flying again. But even if that happens quickly, another costly, bigger question remains. If these jets do have a problem that needs fixing, why were they certified to fly in the first place?
Well, one angle being looked at by air accident investigators is whether software called MCAS, designed to keep the plane's nose down during takeoff, contributed to the crash. Our business editor, Siobhan Kennedy, has spoken exclusively to one senior pilot in Ethiopia who has concerns about the system.
Mourners gathering at the crash site of the Ethiopian Airways Flight 302. It plunged to Earth 6 minutes after takeoff and 5 months after an exact same Boeing model, the 737 MAX 8, crashed into the sea itself just 8 minutes after becoming airborne. The big question for investigators, did the two planes crash for the same reason? Part of the investigation centres around a new safety system called MCAS. It was included in the 737 series for the first time because the new design of the plane meant it had a tendency for its nose to pitch up. If that happens, the MCAS software kicks in and pulls the nose of the plane back down, known as trimming, to prevent it from stalling. The problem is, even before the first Lion Air crash, the pilots weren't told about the new system. Speaking to Channel 4 News, one senior Ethiopian pilot who declined to be named told us.
What is quite weird for us pilots is why we didn't know about it until an aeroplane crashed.
So you didn't know the MCAS software was there?
No, not until the first crash. We knew it was a bigger aeroplane, but if the company tells you that you don't need different training, then the basic assumption is that the flying characteristics are the same.
It revealed for the first time that in the new Boeing 737 plane there is a potential for repeated nose-down commands which, if not addressed, could cause the flight crew to have difficulty controlling the plane and lead to excessive nose-down attitude, significant altitude loss and possible impact with terrain. Even after the guidance was issued, the pilot claimed Boeing didn't visit them to conduct any special training. Now, after the second crash, they're nervous.
There is a feeling that there might be something that we don't really yet know about the MCAS system. Because when Boeing issued a bulletin about the system, the only thing they mentioned is that the existing procedure for excessive nose-down altitude would still apply.
All planes have these so-called trimming systems for safety, but the pilot claims there's one key feature missing with the new MCAS software.
Let's say I'm flying an aeroplane and I would see that the aeroplane is trimming nose down. If I notice that and I grab the controls and pull it up, then the trim would normally stop regardless of what caused it. But when it comes to the MCAS, this system has been disabled. If the MCAS is trimming down and if I pull up on the controls, nothing happens. It continues to trim.
The pilot said there were other ways to override the MCAS system, but stressed if it kicked in at low altitude, such as during takeoff, there may not be sufficient time to shut it down and manually pull up to safety. Boeing told us tonight.
Boeing continues to have full confidence in the safety of the 737 MAX. We are doing everything we can to understand the cause of the accidents and deploy safety enhancements. MCAS was put through flight testing as part of the certification process prior to the aeroplane entering service. The pilot will always be able to override the flight control law. Using electric trim or manual trim.
But according to the pilot we've spoken to, in certain situations, that may not be the case.